And here we are again, our friend playing some tricks here with these Time Wizard cards, but our little mascot for the event. But yeah, let's see. Valerio gonna go first. He can safely assume that he's up against Tempai.
I'm interested to see what he's come up with here for this voiceless voice deck. I mean, there's the kind of stock and steady, you know, you play your powerful voiceless voice cards, you get that barrier, you get that low, and you get that Skull Guardian. But what you do after that, it seems is anyone's guess.
Yeah, but we do start things off with barrier, which is pretty good. Not interrupted. Fernando, we can probably check, but we might assume he's on, you know, no shifter at least. If he's maining those, Charmy as well. Yeah.
He is running the shifter, but no shifter drawn.
He's running both the Perulias and the shifters.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and I think the percentages of drawing one of them is, what? High, I guess, right?
Very precise.
Yeah.
And now we keep on, as Tom was mentioning, the standard, you know, lines with the Skull Guardian. I think the Dogmaticas are probably what he's hoping to just follow this up with, just to get some advantage maybe with the Maximus, but...
Yeah, it's a nice little opportunity with the voiceless voice deck because there's no huge requirement on the extra deck, so you can play these Dogmatica cards with some great targets to send from your extra deck to the graveyard to get some value, whereas I don't think many other decks in the format can afford to just put like 4 or 5 cards that you can't summon into your extra deck as targets for your Nadir 7 and your Dogmatica Maximus. Also running the Fiendsmith cards, so a little bit of everything for Valerio. Going to see a lot more of an explosive start perhaps than we're used to seeing from Voiceless Voice.
Yeah, this is a great start. At the same time, it should be noticed that Fernando is technically still undefeated. He's on 9 wins and 2 draws. We'll change the graphic in a moment, but Valerio is on 9 and 2 losses. So very impressive to go undefeated through 11 rounds of Swiss from Fernando.
Yeah, it's a pretty good record. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Tempai probably draws less than other decks because the games take much less time normally, but maybe he had some back and forth matchups.
I guess so. Maybe he's played against some of those Labyrinth decks that are in the top cut, and that can take a while. But okay, we do get to the Fiendsmith engine too.
He's going to use the continuous trap. Is that Radiance?
Yep.
Of the Voiceless Voice there.
It is.
Return a Voiceless Voice and special summon one from your deck, I think, among other things. Can act as a, much like the new Fire King card, it can pop cards on either side of the field, depending on how many Voiceless Voice cards you have.
Is Valerio running Ash at all?
Let me check. I think he does, yeah.
Okay. Pun incoming in 3, 2, 1. Because his third name, which is Precacenere, in Italian gets translated to literally waste ash. So I really want to see how he's using those ash blossoms. Because, you know, the joke is waiting for him around the corner.
Do you think he's got any Synchro Monsters to go with this Herald? That would be some fun. He's got a Psyframe Lord Omega.
No, I don't think you synchro with the link. And now we... Yeah, this is looking definitely quite good from Valerio. But the question is it enough against a deck like Tempai, where they can just try and, you know, fight your field with cards like Lightning Storm, Dark Lord, Raigeki, and obviously you can play around maybe one. But when they start dropping, you know, multiple copies of those, that can be an issue. But let's see. Fernando picks up his 6 cards, and now the pressure is on him. Does he have what it takes to fight this amazing opening from Valerio?
Yeah, some extreme weather events when you get hit with multiple Lightning Storms and a Duster. It goes to show, like, when you tailor your deck to going second, the power of these cards. You can just include all of these cards without worrying about them not being so useful going first, like Raigeki and Lightning Storm, and just you know, maybe one by itself, not so much, but when you start to play 2 or 3, chomp through your opponent's negates.
There it is, the first one coming down. Good old Dark Hole making an appearance.
That's negate 1.
He's thinking about it, so maybe he has...
Looks like he pointed to the Skull Guardian,
Yeah.
which is interesting because Skull Guardian is a premium option, but is it stronger than the Desiree, which can just negate any card? Maybe not.
I saw Fernando holding an impermanence for sure. Wow. This is Raigeki, right?
Yeah, this is a new art
very-
of Raigeki.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is also featured on the exclusive playmat that you can get at this event for the public events.
I also saw maybe one lucky person will get to take home the giant card version of this
Yeah,
Ultimate
that's-
Art Raigeki.
Looks phenomenal. Unfortunately, I don't have the right version to show you guys, but we'll have to go. And wow, Droplet to follow it up. Oof. We've mentioned in one of our previous rounds how, you know, opening evenly plus Droplet, you know, guarantees you to beat the majority of decks. This could just be the same case. And he's thinking about just getting rid of a monster maybe to prevent anything else. He's thinking.
Yeah, or maybe a trap. I'm not sure what tricks you can play with Radiance of the Voiceless Voice 2.
I think, no, he's done. So he's just gonna use it on the Desiree. Does this resolve? It does!
Wow.
Wow!
And he clears the entire field.
Why no
yeah, I was-
SP?
exactly.
So there was no monster sent. Here
Yeah,
comes
I was
the,
thinking the same.
yeah, the
exact
second effect of the
thing.
ritual spell.
I guess maybe he just thought he couldn't respond to Droplet for some reason. Well, yeah, as you mentioned, there was no monster there, so at least the SP should have been activated. I mean, the tension can get you. Playing, you know, on stream is not easy. Maybe on your first appearance in a top cut, which could be the case for Valerio, I'm not sure.
Here we see some Saravis action.
Yeah.
One on the field, one in the hand, being used to protect. Does low comes out when you special summon a ritual monster. Yeah, so I guess low would have been chain link 1 in that chain. And Saravis, very old. It's one of the sort of
Yes.
older ones
Yeah.
that actually made its way into the deck.
Absolutely. It was played in a few decks in the past as well.
Maybe
I
as
remember
old
as a
us.
one-off. And yeah, this is some pressure. Let's see if Valerio has what it takes to stay in this. As we can see, he's thinking about this Radiance.
I'm wondering, so Saravis can negate a summon that doesn't start a chain, but I'm wondering if that works if you use a Tempai monster effect to do a synchro summon, like as Chainlink 1.
I
maybe
don't think so. Right?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Often they say like immediately after this effect resolves,
Yeah, it depends on
synchro
the-
summon a monster. Like if you do a Chainlink 2, I'm be almost 100% sure it can't.
But for now, we are in the battle phase and we are gonna see some Tempai action.
Checking on something.
Yep, seems like it's all good. So this Padra will hit the field. And gonna get Fernando one more resource. Makes sense.
Here it comes. We're going to get all 3 of the Tenpais on the field in short order. I guess there's 4 now, so but maybe we'll get the 4th one too.
Are we activating the effect? Because it looks like it. Okay, no. We go right. No response again from the end from Valerio.
So here we go. I mean, this might be an opportunity, right, to use the use something you've already put on the chain to make sure you're synchro summoning Chainlink 2. But I'm not. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how this is going to work out.
And now we see the Gegen Roku making an appearance once again.
Attacking again, just to make sure he gets up to 3 attacks. Have to attack into Cerebus because of the barrier, I think.
I think now he has used the first effect to synchro. Yep, looks like it. And yeah, then now we're gonna find out, Tom. So
maybe Valerio knows and he's not even going to try.
yeah, the Bident is here. I'm sure he knows. I mean, Tempai is one of the most represented decks. So. Looks like that's okay with him.
I mean, if that is the case, then the Cerebus is pretty not good at all against the Tempai deck, is it? They can synchro summon just completely ignoring it. Very powerful way to skip.
But
maybe it's being done Chain Link 2. Maybe
Yeah.
that's so maybe that previous one was Chain Link 2 as well somehow.
This time it is for sure because he used the game Roku and then chained as Chilling Chew, so that makes me think you actually can. And now we get the Fadra, and this will be really good because
those monsters that have been hiding in defense mode will be in defense mode no longer. That impressive 2000 defense from low is going to be changed to a less impressive 0 attack, is it?
Yeah, I think it's 0.
Oh, 50.
50.
Okay.
Pretty much.
And Transcendent Dragon is such an amazing card. Protects you as well as allowing you to just push for game quite easily. This might just be it.
Just resolving the effect of Fadra before the attack goes through. But yeah, this is so much damage.
Yeah. I think Valerio knows, and yeah, he recognizes that this is indeed enough, and Fernando takes game 1. What a show, and what a start to this top 30 issue. It looked like Valerio had a pretty solid opening, but in the end, it just wasn't enough to stop the aggression from the Tempai deck. Darkor, Raigeki, and Droplet. I mean, that's tough to beat. So.
Yeah, I mean, it was a super close game. Even at the end, there was, obviously the big emphatic finish, but there was just, one Tempai too many. Like, you needed all of those interruptions and all of the Tempai cards in order to win that game.
Yeah.
So one card fewer, one extra interruption on the opening could have made all that difference.
Yeah, I think he had all the answers to Valerio's field, especially because like the Raigeki plus the Dark Hole plus the Impermanence on the Zoravis just in case, and then the Droplet. Do you think Valerio could have done maybe something different, like maybe the SP Lille Knight being activated over there? But
it wouldn't have changed anything because that would have been relevant whether he would have survived this turn. Unfortunately, that was not the case. And now comes I think my favorite part about a Tempai match, which is the mind games after siding of who goes first and who goes second. I gotta say, looking at the deck from Valerio, like 90% of his side deck is for going second, which is interesting. He might be thinking that his deck is just so strong at going first, outside of maybe siding that call by the Grave Inn, but the rest looks mostly for going second, which is an issue. On the other hand, I guess from Fernando, the usual suspects, so that those heat waves, which again, do you bring them in here? That's the question. Yeah,
that's always the question. I've no idea. I guess each Tempai player, maybe you take a read on your opponent and you think, are they going to let me go first? You stare into their soul. I mean, you guys, are you a big fan of mind games then, Marcello?
Oh, I love them.
I think
by far my favorite part of Yu-Gi-Oh.
I think it makes sense to just, set them in. I mean, like, the plan should ideally be I go first in game 2, right? But I think that's the risk you may take, honestly.
But possibly one thing to be worried about if you're running the Voiceless Voice deck, one thing I talk about is one of the best tools for the Tempai deck when it is forced to go first or goes first is that Kwakimaru Drago.
Yeah.
And Voiceless Voice is a deck that's all light monsters. So if your opponent your opponent's probably going to put the Drago in their deck. It's not too much of a commitment. It's just one card, and they can always fish it out with the seal. So if you go first, you're going to have to stare down a Drago, most likely, on your first turn. So maybe we just don't want to do that.
That's absolutely right, and I guess we'll find out just in a matter of seconds as our duelists are almost done with their shuffling up. Let's find out who will be the winner of Game 2. Drum roll, what's it gonna be? Looks like he's going first, but I think he might have been a vocal one.
Can't tell, honestly.
Let's see.
I think, but oh,
No.
wow.
Oh, I mean, still. Yep. Oh, and the shifter coming down, making an appearance.
And Valeri's going first. Yeah.
I think Valerio is going first. And this is problematic, to say the least.
The worst of both worlds.
Yep.
Going first and staring down that shifter.
This hurts a lot. What can you even do? Because there's one engraver. We see a Skull Guardian.
Yeah, it seems like a Skull Guardian. And you can see it debating a lot. Okay, the pre-preparation is a nice card to get, but the shifter is there. So we're gonna need a bit of help. And yeah, this is just what makes Tempai such a strong deck. Not only, as we saw in the previous game, you can play cards like Raigeki and Darkhold, but you still get the fullest potential out of a Shifter and Mulcharmi Purulia, which you can main. And yeah, you just get so many free games due to those cards.
Yeah, I mean, the Shifter is just crushing this weekend for so many decks we're seeing. Like this Voiceless Voice deck, like the Yubel deck. Like watching Yubel yesterday, we didn't see the Shifter, but we saw a Dimensional Fissure, and it just seemed to completely run over the deck. One Dimensional Fissure.
Yeah, we had to use the prayers to just bring out this Skull Guardian, and let's see if he has anything else to pair it up outside of the low.
I guess at the worst, low will fetch out a barrier. Oh, we've already got the barrier. Okay. So that means low can fetch out the Radiance once again.
Yeah. Yeah, so it will probably be close to the just standard setup for Voiceless.
Yeah, I mean, pairing the Dimension Shifter with more cards coming in on your turn, like the Storm Darkhold Raigeki, is just, it's very crushing, because, you know, oftentimes if decks have their cards sent to the graveyard, they have no issue recycling them, but once they start getting banished, it can be a bit more tricky. Just having a look at the newly released Blessing of the Voiceless Voice.
Goes for Blessing, and now let's see if we are able to extend further. Is that a pass?
Yeah.
Looks like it.
That's it. The shifter completely, let's say, changed.
It is a pass, and this is not a threatening opener by Valerio. This could be a quick one if he has a similar end to the previous game, with just like a Darkhold Raigeki, let's see, and some way to play and force out this Skull Guardian. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, against Tempai, you've got to think they almost always have it, and they're the one engine piece and then one field breaker. It's not that much to us when that's almost like half. That's half their deck is the engine and half is the hand traps and field breakers.
I mean, at least Fernando is thinking about it, which is a good sign, because I mean, pretty sure he would have slammed those. But the first card, it is the Raigeki once again. What are we following it up with?
Raigeki 2.
Let's see.
Wow. Pretty similar.
Yep, another one, I guess. Lightning Storm making an appearance, getting rid of everything, and we might be moments away. Do we have a way to play the game? We do with the one Oh, wow. What an opener. And whoa.
Wow.
Wow.
We do still have the blessing, so
Yeah.
maybe that will let us get somewhere. Lets you ritual summon. A bit like the Flow Under Ease field spell, I want to say. Like when your opponent summons a monster, I think, you can ritual summon. Give you slightly more ways to play, but what's it going to do? Like, you're going to get to search. Maybe you can search a Ceravis, prevent your Skull Guardian from being targeted, but you've already used the negation, right?
I guess, yeah, the only thing we should keep in mind is that the blessing makes your ritual as it cannot be destroyed by battle. So like that's something that maybe Fernando is not familiar with. Could be a surprise, I guess. So
yeah, and the shifter isn't particularly difficult for Tenpai to play under, but it is a little bit annoying because you don't get that recursion with the Biden Dragon or the Padra even. So maybe it does limit a little bit what you can do and the number of monsters you can attack with, and having this big monster you can't destroy by battle might be enough.
Yeah, this could totally be the case, and yeah, Fernando has to be careful because obviously this is another dream opener, but I don't know. He didn't read the blessing. This is the only thing I'm worried about. And I think we just entered battle phase, so seems like he attacked with both, and now we are gonna go. Yeah,
attack with both at once. Yeah, it looks like he's kind of turning it sideways to say it's already attacked.
Yeah,
yeah, you can't attack with both at once.
Okay, this seems like it's the second attack. And now we are going to synchro summon, and this is the crucial point where, I mean, he might find out soon, depending what he makes. That cannot be destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, the Biden Dragon wouldn't really do anything here anyway, so it might just be...
If we built one.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice catch.
That works, so it's gonna destroy the Skull Guardian, unless there is a Suravis. I'm not even sure if it says discard or send to grave, but it should say discard maybe. Okay, not there. So we got rid of the Skull Guardian, and we can still push some damage. And that's it. Wow! What's the
one shifter?
The one shifter from Fernando is enough. We have a quick one. Congratulations, but Fernando is the one who advances. Wow, what a start to this top 32. Sometimes, I mean, I guess that's what Tenpai does. And yeah, Tenpai just doing Tenpai things. And it happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with it, right? You just play your Dark Holes, you play your Raigeki. It's such a, it's a very simple strategy, but it's a very effective strategy, and we're just seeing it all over. We saw it take home the European Championships even, so what do you reckon? Do you think it's going to go all the way today?
He has good chances in my opinion, especially if Fernando continues drawing like this. It's going to be difficult to defeat him, honestly. And I mean, like, that's how the deck works, and I mean, like, sometimes it may be easier than other times, especially because, like, I mean, here the shifter basically did the entire job in game 2. Still a very good run for Valerio with the Voiceless Voice deck into the top 32. I think it is impressive, especially because, like, we saw how different the metagame is at the moment. So I think he did a good job. I mean, like, I really like the way he played the deck with different additions, with the Dogmatical cards in it, the Fiendsmiths. Unfortunately, we didn't really get to see how powerful the deck is, because basically, Fernando had it all. Yeah. But still, congratulations to Valerio for one of the most difficult YCS in the last years, in my opinion.
Yeah, by far, and still a great accomplishment, making it all the way with one of those decks which wasn't considered, I guess, the top 3 most popular choices for the weekend, but just proves to you can play whatever you want, and if you're comfortable with it, especially in these formats that follow a recent update in the list, it makes sense. It worked out for him, but we'll see whether Fernando is going to be able to keep on this undefeated streak, because he's technically sitting on 10 wins and 2 draws. So pretty good weekend for him, that we can say. And obviously the deck looks good. It looks somewhat similar to the deck list that won the European Championship. with this approach of just playing multiple copies of Regeki and Darkhold. And I guess if it's not broken, why fix it? Yeah.
I'd be really interested to see if we at some point get a Tenpai mirror match on here, because I know you love the mind games, but this will start to get really confusing when like normally you want to lose the dice roll, and then if you lose the dice roll and then are forced to go first, you know you're in a lot of trouble with Tenpai itself. So be interested to see what happens if we get one of those. That must have been happening a fair amount this weekend, as we saw Tenpai at the beginning of day one had what, 12 or 13%, and still going in got a similar percentage.
I mean, it has its chances, and I mean, my prayers honestly go to the 9% of Runic players.
Okay, but I guess one last time we can bring it up for you guys on screen if anyone missed it. So the deck breakdown for the top 30 issue and what that looks like. And yeah, here it is once again. So you build pretty much a third of the top cut is made of the deck, and it's up to the rest trying to defeat them. But as you mentioned, Runic is still there, Labyrinth is still there, by the way. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be definitely an interesting rest of top cut. Outside of this, 4 rounds remain to crown YCS Lille 2024 champion.
Yeah, I mean, as you were hoping for, it's such a diverse top cut. I mean, we see those bars that say 6%, right? But because they're so spread out, and remember, there's only 32 players, so 6% means there are 2 decks, and then everything else in the other, that means there's only 1 of those. That's like so few of each deck. That means we must have seen like maybe even more than 10 different decks, which is just so fantastic to see. It's so interesting to see all of the different decks duelists come up with and make it all the way through. Wow.
Yeah, because that is something that we kind of become accustomed with the top 64. But with the top 32, honestly, I can't remember one that diverse. It's like much tougher to make it all the way. And yeah, that just comes to show the state of the game at the moment. And we are in to just see what's going to take it. A lot of different options, a lot of different players. And I guess now all there is remaining for this top 32 is to hear it from the man, Fernando. And we are going to have an interview done by Ed.
Thank you, Marcello. I am here with Fernando, who's just made his way into the top 16 here at YCS Lille. Very exciting. You have a lot of your friends just off camera here taking pictures of you and stuff.
Of course.
Well, firstly, congratulations. How do you feel?
I feel pretty great, pretty good day with the deck that I like. So let's see.
We just saw on screen Tenpai is the second biggest deck behind Fiendsmith Snake Eyes. How are you finding the deck in the format? Is it good?
Yes, for me, the two best decks are Jewel and Tenpai. And I think Tenpai is a good matchup with Jewel. So for me, Tenpai is a very good choice.
Why do you like the deck?
Very simple. I like simple decks.
Okay.
Big monsters go boom boom. So I like that.
You cannot get a better answer than that. So in this top 16, are you worried about going up against any deck, or are you pretty happy? Are you confident with Tenpai?
I don't know if anybody play on the top Chimera or something like that. But if it's Jewel, I'm pretty confident.
Well, congratulations. I'm going to let you put your microphone down and you can go and join Basti over there. Congratulations, though, on getting into the top 16. Feel free to wander over. You guys are going to go through some plays. Congrats, mate. And it's great that we get to do this, even as we go into those top cuts and see exactly how the plays have been happening. From the man himself, Fernando and Basti, we're going to go straight over to them. Guys, take it away.
Thank you, Ed. And of course, here we are at the analysis desk with our feature match winner. Congratulations from me as well, Fernando, now in top 16. But let's talk about the match that you just played. We are going to go into the first highlight and see in game number 1, of course, how you managed to break that field there. You decide to go second, right, with your Tenpai deck.
Yes,
so your
of
opponent
course.
know what is coming. But could he prepare for this? When you saw your hand, you knew we were doing it? Or how did you feel about your hands?
I didn't expect the Fiesmith package.
True.
So it's a lot of negation.
True.
But my hand was pretty good. So out of breakers, the dropless was pretty good.
Yeah, we see it. There was the Dark Hole. He negated that with the Skull Guardian, right?
Yes.
Here comes the... Were you surprised when he used the Skull Guardian first? It's kind of good because the Desiree can maybe respond to Forbidden Droplet if you're like not sending a monster or something. So like, here's the interaction that was interesting to me, because he activates Raigeki, you activate Raigeki, sorry.
Yes.
And he responds with the Desiree, and there comes the Droplet. And then he did not respond to the Droplet, right? Because Droplet sends only a spell card.
Yes.
Do you think he should have responded, maybe with SP or something?
Yeah, misplayed.
Just the SP, or what was missing?
I think he goes speed.
But what is he banishing with the SP then?
Any monster for follow-up if I don't kill, maybe.
Fair, yeah, that's reasonable. I can see that definitely. But he just let it resolve. His entire field in terms of monsters was gone.
Yes.
All right, so we can follow it up with the next highlight. Let's get that next clip rolling. And that is showing you there is new monsters on the field, because he was able to use the prayers of the Voices Voice in the graveyard to bring out the Saravis. So now in the battle phase, were you aware of the Saravis interaction? Because Saravis technically, as many people don't know, would be able to negate synchro summons from Tenpai monsters, right? But you played around it, correct?
Yes, chain lock.
Yeah,
With
exactly. You went Chainlink 1, Chandra Chainlink to Hydra, and
Yes.
therefore it cannot negate it anymore. That was very, very smart by you, very heads to play. Did you test versus Voices Voice, or how did you know about that?
Yeah, I play with my friend that play voices a lot of times.
Yeah,
I chain lock too with the fake poplar.
that's true. That was really, really good, because a lot of people, I mean, some people don't even know, because usually the Saravis only works on inherent summons, but the Tenpai monsters, they, like, even though they activate an effect, it's going to be a regular synchro summon that they're performing, right?
Yeah,
So-
pretty good monsters.
Yeah, exactly. So you were able then to win from there on, as you just had enough monsters to attack for a game. Your opponent scooped shortly after, so game 1 to you. After that, in side decking, do you think your opponent is letting you start, or do you think your opponent is going second?
He will start 100%. 100%.
You sure? Voices
Yes.
Voice has to go first?
Yes.
Okay. Why is that? Because they just can't do enough going second?
Because depend a lot of my hand.
Yeah.
If I shifter and he still make Skull Guardian and low, under shifter I can't break the skull
Fair.
unless I draw 2 breakers.
And I mean, okay, that brings us to the second game, where you did draw Shifter going second.
Yes.
And let's go into the highlight as we see how it exactly went down. Shifter already in your graveyard. That's the field they created, which honestly is not even that bad, right? Because we
It's
have
not bad,
they
it's
have
not bad.
Blessing to bring out another monster. They already have the Skull Guardian, and now you start things off by activating Raigeki. So first breaker. He, of course, has to negate it, otherwise he loses his field. So that was an obvious one, quick and easy. But you fought for a little bit, but it was always clear what's coming next, right?
I don't know if lining spell traps on monster,
Okay.
because I know the monster that bring the continuous spells
Okay.
can be destroyed by battle.
True, true.
So that's pretty hard. But I was thinking, nah, he don't have it. he have it.
Exactly, yeah, so you just went with the monsters, and then the field basically was empty, and then also Sengen Summoning, not limited to you, right? Just draw it,
Yes.
it's that easy. Activate Sengen Summoning and play without any fear. Going into the last clip that we have prepared, and that's the final moment then in the battle phase. And Curry Belt was the only option that was available to you there, because you
Yes.
needed to get rid of that Skull Guard, because you were just saying
Yes.
it could not be destroyed by battle, so you had to do this, right?
Under shifter, yes.
Under Shifter. What would be an option without Shifter?
Trash thing, going to attack, Trident, pop Transcend, Transcend, revive, pop the skull.
All right, yeah. But the Curry Belt here under Shifter was perfect.
Yes.
So you had enough to go for game. Quick and easy 2-0, honestly, from you. So Tenpai strategy going really, really well for you. Let's see how well you can do in top 16, of course. I'm going to not bother you anymore. Thank you for doing the interview here with me. And, of course, going back now to @Templar for more live coverage.